Shabbat Shalom, family. We going live. Shabbat Shalom, Mishi. We're going to get started. We're going to move forward. We got so many things to talk about today. So many wonderful things. So, do what you do best and invite your family, invite your friends, those who you feel may need to hear the words of the Most High as He speak unto us. Invite them in. Bring them in. Let's go. Let's travel. Let's worship this King and let's learn the things that are needed and necessary to draw us closer to this King. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Colin. Giving all honor and praise unto the Most High King of all creation. Asking that He will guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech as I approach unto you, His people. Shabbat Shalom. As always, family, we start our lesson off with a small prayer and acknowledgement to the Most High King. May the Creator of all creation be pleased with our efforts to honor His commands. May He, the Mighty One of Israel, forgive us of our sins and forgive our forefathers of their sins and cause His Holy Spirit and truth to possess us and empower us to do righteously according unto His will. May He, the Eternal One, forgive both us and our forefathers for the wickedness that we have performed against Him by serving other deities, other powers. I greet you all in the name of the Most High, great King, by saying Shabbat Shalom Lekim. May the Most High be praised. And as always, family, when we start our lessons, we like to start off by asking a series of questions just to provoke you to think on the Most High and what it is that the Most High commands of us, or what He would desire of us to do and how He would desire for us to live. And one of those questions that we have that we're going to ask is, Panina, Shabbat Shalom, what do you expect from the Creator? You know, when you first, Huhana, Shabbat Shalom, Araya, Shabbat Shalom, Shema, Shabbat Shalom, and Barbrizi, Shabbat Shalom. What do you expect from the Most High? You know, when you come into this way of life, you come into this way of life with an expectation from the power you serve. So you have to ask yourself, what do you expect from this King? You know, if you expect greatness and riches and humility and honor, truth and trust, whatever it is that you expect, healing, whatever it might be that you expect from this King, the next question would edify your understandings of that. And the next question is, what do you demand from the Creator through your actions and your lifestyle? It's one thing to expect something from the Creator, but it's another thing to show Him from your actions that you require a certain type of thing from Him. You know, and it's very important that we walk in the integrity of our minds, which means that although we're not perfect, we put our best foot forward to be as perfect as possible before the Creator. Okay? Although there is no perfect man who has ever walked the earth, the Most High has always used imperfect people to bring about His perfect will. Take that into mind and consideration when you cast judgment on others. The Most High has always used imperfect people to bring about His perfect will upon creation. Okay? So sometimes we are quick to scrutinize others. We're quick to say what others are and what they're not doing. And we're always looking for that perfection in the individual. Therefore, we miss the message. Just like a moment ago, my lapel fell over like this, made me imperfect. So you see me straighten it out. Well, somebody else might, oh, I ain't listening to Prince. He can't even keep his lapel straight. Finding excuses and reasons which are silly, irrelevant things to miss the importance of the message. And that's what we have to begin to do, is to train our ears so that we can hear the importance of the message and leave the individual out of the equation. Because the Most High, it's amazing how he works. He uses people that you would never even, the least likely of people that you would think the Father would use are his servants and his messengers. June, Shabbat Shalom. Yeshaya, Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High be praised forever and forever. You have to ask yourself, what is the reason why the Most High chose you from all the members of your family, from all the people of your school, from all the people on your block or from your neighborhood, or even from your city? Why did the Most High choose you? What was it about you that caused the Father to bring you unto himself? Ask yourself that question. Samaria, Shabbat Shalom. And then, last but finally, the questions that you need to ask yourself is, why? Why are you living for the reason that the Most High chose you for today? Are you living for that reason today? You know, a lot of times we have special gifts and special talents. It might be a certain trait that you may possess. And the Most High might need your skill for a certain reason in a certain place at a certain time on a certain day. So he raised you up 10 years ago just for that particular moment in life. And then after you serve that purpose, you continue to focus on him and live your life in obedience to his commands. But how many of us have actually come into grips and reality with our purpose in this life? And if you have, you understand what your purpose is. Are you living for that purpose today? Because not a lot of us are living for the purpose that the Creator has made us to live in this earth. We moving around doing so many other things, and it has nothing to do with our service to the Most High. How often do you give time out of your day to give back unto the Creator a portion of yourself, something that he hasn't required of you? So family, this message is for you, and this message is for a lot of the people in the listening audience who are not here with us on this live today. The listening audience, they will have the opportunity at a later time to pay heed to this. As I was scrolling down my Facebook page today, I saw in the thing where, I don't know what the name of the thing is, but you know how people put up posts for the day and you click on it and it's a little image of them in certain styles. It was a certain sister, Amani Yisrael. Amani Yisrael. She had a name in the middle, Jana, I think it was. Amani Jonah Yisrael. She had a little name in it. So I scrolled down the picture and I see this half-naked lady with this halter top from here to here with her breasts exposed and the bottom part, stomach was showing. And so I type a little message in the room on her post. And I said something similar to, and I don't remember my exact words, but something similar to, why? When you're enlightened, why? The sister wrote me back, why what? So immediately in my mind, dealing with a woman that I would see with a picture like that up on her page, I'm expecting that once I respond to her, I'm going to get some hostility and some negativity from this sister. But the sister actually humbled my heart. I explained to her why. And it is because you are an enlightened sister. In so many words, I don't remember my exact words, but it was similar to this. You are an enlightened sister. And your private parts, your flesh, belongs concealed until the time that you have to expose them to your husband. They're not for the world to see. I'm expecting this sister, which the average sister usually come back with some, you ain't my father, I don't really know you like that, mind your business. You understand how it is? And I'm expecting, not that I would like that, but I was expecting the sister, because of the photos, some type of negative, nasty response. But sister, if you listening, I got to give you your props. because your response to me was perfect. And only pray that you will follow through on the things that you said, and that you will take whatever you've learned from this and apply it to everything in your life, and go through your Facebook posts, your pages and everything, and delete everything that's inappropriate. Her response to me was, thank you. Something like, I apologize and I will remove it. Hey, may the Most High be praised, because this is the type of attitude that we have to elevate ourselves toward this great King. She could have said a lot of things. She could have held back and gone back and forth with a whole lot of different stuff like we do sometimes. Nah, this sister said, nah, Prince, this is what you request. I can see the understanding in that. I'm going to remove it because it shouldn't have been. She didn't say those exact words, but her spirit, her attitude was one of such. See, this is the type of attitude that we have to have when we go before the Almighty. One that is like a child that is willing to hear and to learn. And once you hear and learn something that you disagree with, you have to weigh it and measure. And then once you weigh it and measure and you see that it's true, then the only thing you can do is go with that knowledge that has just been brought to you, has been introduced to you. You need to to imitate your actions and repeat that type of knowledge in everything that you do. This is going to touch on today's lesson. Today's lesson is going to come out of the book of Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. So family, go out and invite your friends, your brothers, your sisters. Send this video, share this video, do a live video, do whatever you have to do, because this message is going to be important as always. It's something that we need to touch our people, something that we have to utilize to open up the minds of our people. You see, we're in this place right now, we're in this time warp or this zone right now, and we're trapped. We're looking at our people dying in the streets every day. We're looking at the foods we eat. The foods are poisonous, and it's killing us slowly and softly. So many things, the water we drink, the air we breathe, everything is poisoned and intoxicated, and it's destroying us slowly. We really don't know which way to turn. But the Most High said that these things would happen. He told us that these types of things would take place. But he also said that he will be a small sanctuary for us in the land of our captivity. And it's up to us to return back to the Most High and give unto him the best of us so that he could save us from the hands of our enemies. Okay? We're going to read a little bit about this captivity that we're in. We're going to read a little bit about why we are here in this captivity. And we're going to read a little bit about how we can reverse this captivity that we're in. So may the Most High be pleased with my efforts as I speak unto you, his people. It's not going to take long. I have to run through this because, well, you know me, I'm long-winded. I don't know why. But we have another class beginning at 2 o'clock from our Goshen community. And I have to deliver my message to you and try to advise you to go to the other page. I'm going to do it live from my page. If I have the opportunity after this lesson is over, I'm going to stream it live from my page so that you all can see it. Or you can go to my Isha's page, Madiah Yisrael, MDAIYAH Yisrael. You can go to her page and watch it after we're done here. Okay? So Shabbat Shalom to you all. May the Most High be with you all, fill you all with his proper spirit, allow you all to be educated in the teachings of righteousness and truth that will help you to return back to him as one people on one accord with one agenda, one purpose, moving strongly toward him. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter of Jeremiah. And the word of the Creator came unto me. Yirmiyahu, the prophet, is speaking. Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus saith the Creator. So family, you have to do this now. You have to understand that this is the Most High speaking to you today from 1,000 years ago, trying to tell you what's going to befall you in the latter days to come. And here we are in those latter days today, reading the prophecies left on record by the prophets at the word of the Most High, unto the mouths of the prophets, and to the mouths of the scribes, unto the hands of the scribes, unto us. Here we are. He said, I remember for thee the affection of thy youth. Do you remember when you first got knowledge of the Most High King? That you are a Hebrew Israelite? That you was not a Gentile? And that the deity that you were serving was all wrong? If you were serving the deity at all. And you learned of the oneness of the Most High, the trueness and the greatness of this wonderful King, and the joy that was inside your spirit, how it possessed you, the feeling and emotion that ran through you, how it ignited you throughout the course of your day, and it kept you alive, and you just walked so clean and perfect before the Almighty. How you gave it every step you did, you felt convicted if it wasn't in the ways of righteousness. Do you remember them days? See, I remember them days. But what happens is, after we've lived this way for a certain amount of time, we tend to let the ways of the world overtake us after a period of time, rather holding on to those ways of righteousness and truth. For example, I remember a story about this lady who learned how to drive. Her husband took her out and she didn't know how to drive. They were a young couple, 24, 25, and she didn't know how to drive. So her husband took her out and he taught her how to drive. And I mean, it took him like 2 days and she learned. After about a week of driving, she got her license, and then they got a car for her. So when her husband got her a car, he brought her home, and he surprised he had a big bow ribbon around the top of it. So she goes out, she gets in her car, and she starts driving her car. And when she first got behind the wheel, she sat in her car, she looked at her husband, she smiled. As she was putting on her seatbelt, she looks down, snap her seatbelt in, she fixed her mirrors, she adjusts her mirrors, sticks the mirror in the middle, she looks out the back, makes sure ain't nothing coming, and when she drives, she had her hands on 9 and 6 or 10 and 2, whichever you use. We use 9 and 3. So on 9 and 3, she had her hands on 9 and 3, she looks out the rear view mirror as she turns and goes into traffic. She pulls up to the stop sign, she stops. She looks around with her hands on the steering wheel. She looked to the left, looked to the right. She looked back to the left again, and then she goes on into proceeding into traffic. When she gets to a red light, she stops. She waits till the light turns green. She proceeds. When she come upon another light and it's yellow, she stops. Or she proceed with caution, but just to be on the safe side, because she's a new driver, she stops. A week go by, she forget to sit on the seatbelt, put a seatbelt on. 2 months go by, she forget to adjust her mirrors. She's been driving for a whole year now, 6 months to a year now, and all of a sudden, everything that she learned, she just forgot. That's how we are with the Creator. We learn these messages, these teachings early on when we first come into this way, but the longer we walk in the way, something about us just causes our minds to go in a different place, and we forget or take careful consideration in not knowing the things that we know we should have been doing, like with the same energy we should have been doing it when we first learned it. We change our behavior and we begin to do something other than how we did it when we first learned this thing. So now she's driving down the street almost 8 months later, and she chilling. She got one hand on the wheel, one hand down by the side. She looking around like this, one hand, on the steering wheel. She stopped and she picks up her phone, answer her phone, text, and after a year, can't tell her nothing. No seatbelt, no mirrors, one hand on the wheel, and when she feel like she want to eat something in the car, she using her knees to drive. That's how we are with the Creator, family. We incorporate other things in the teachings and the understanding that the Creator gave to us along the way. The longer we've been in, we try to make other things fit in our lives. that don't supposed to be there, that don't belong there. Rather than just focusing on how to worship this king and this king only, we incorporate everything else of our daily lives into our service to the Most High, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. So after a year, she's driving her car. She goes into the intersection while she's eating, texting on the phone with one hand on the wheel, and smack! A truck hit her. Knocks her around, spins her around 2 times, and her head hits up against the back of the seat. She smashes up against the curb. Police runs over to a car, takes her out of a car, and asks her what's wrong with her. That's how we are when the Most High brings down his wrath or his punishment upon us for not keeping true to the things that we learned in how we were supposed to serve him. When he brings down his wrath, it angers us. It hurts us. We feel embarrassed. We feel ashamed. And we start asking why. She looks up at the police officer. She says, I don't know what happened. I don't know why this happened. I was proceeding as I supposed to into the intersection. I had the right of way. We think in our minds that our ways are right, but they're not. The Most High gave us the direction and the prescriptions and the ingredients. But what did we do? We mixed it with idolatry and adultery. We took our own habits that we learned out here in the world with the world, and we incorporated it into our service of the Most High. And when the Most High brings down his judgment upon us, we don't understand why. Now, when she first got a license, everything was going well for her. She was like, yo, I must be doing something right. She thought she was so good at what she was doing that now she can incorporate all this other stuff into her actions and still be safe while driving. I'm saying to you, family, you ain't safe while driving toward the Almighty unless you follow the instructions and the ingredients that the Almighty gave. Those instructions, those ingredients is found from Genesis to Malachi. You have to study. You have to read. You have to learn. Many of those other things that you're going to be learning has nothing to do with the proper way to drive a car. You understand? It has nothing to do with the instructions that you received when you didn't know how to drive a car, and now you are learning how to drive a car. It had nothing to do with that. But you're going to bring it into your car and incorporate it so that you can get several things done at one time because you feel some kind of way. Our brothers and sisters who bring idolatrous practices into the service of the Most High, it's because they fear or they feel a certain kind of way. Some people feel abandoned by the Almighty. Some people actually feel like that deity that they serve is the creator. I submit to you today that the Most High is not a deity, family. He's not a deity. Well, we're going to talk about some stuff today. We're going to get pretty deep. When the police officer dragged the lady out the car and asked the lady, what happened? She said, I don't know. I did everything I was supposed to do. I had the light. Whoever hit me couldn't have had the light. I was right. So when you're stuck in your religions and the Most High does what he needs to do to try to pull you out or correct you, and you're not listening because he's trying to get your attention. It's not a happenstance that you are hearing this lesson today. It's the Almighty, the creator of all creation, trying to bring you back unto the oneness of him. And here in the book of Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, we're going to read about the Most High also extending his mercy unto us, trying to bring us back unto him. Okay? Verse 2. Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus saith the Creator, I remember for thee the affection of thy youth, the love of thy exposal when you first came into my bosoms, O Israel. How thou wentest after me in the wilderness. How when we were desolate with nothing around, we served the Creator with everything that we had. We gave him the best of us. in a land that was not sown. Israel is the Creator's hallowed portion. He separated us from all the rest of the nations on the earth. He brought us unto himself. And anybody who rose up against us, the Most High dealt with them. It is still that way today. As a servant of the Almighty, when you stand in your integrity before this king, knowing that you have not done any intentional evil, you have not violated his laws intentionally, you have not served any power other than him to the best of your ability, he will fight for you. And anybody that comes up against you, he will knock them down. That's what he's saying to us. Israel, Yisrael, is the Creator's hallowed portion, his first fruit of the increase. All that devour him shall be held guilty. All that comes against you shall be held guilty, family. Hear the words of the Most High King as he speaks unto you, his servants. Anybody, I don't care who they are, where they're from, what nation, I don't care how they stand. If you're standing on your square righteously before the Almighty King, the Most High will protect you and deliver you. I don't care how hard it looks around you. I don't care how difficult the times appear to be getting. The Most High will provide for you. You have to trust in him. Put your trust in the Most High and know that you stand in the place of righteousness, and he'll fight your battles for you. People will stand up and speak all kind of evil and negativities against you to try to get you to go back and forth with them. Maintain your composure, family. Maintain your grounds, because you know that those things are false. You know that those things are evil. You know that those things has nothing to do with you. So stand on your square and stand before the Almighty. Raise your hands up to the heavens and give it over to him and allow him to fight that battle for you. Give it to the Most High King and allow him to fight that battle for you. You don't need to do it, family. Believe me. He'll fight it better than you could ever fight it. Let's read on. All that comes against you, Yisrael, shall perish and be destroyed. The Most High King shall make sure of that. For his first fruit of the increase, all that devour him shall be held guilty. Evil shall come upon them, saith the Creator. What's going to happen to them? The Most High is going to bring havoc in their lives. The Most High is going to rain down evil upon them. He's going to fight for you because you are his. You understand me? You belong to the Almighty King. He's going to fight for you, but you have to trust in him. He says, hear ye the word of the Creator, O house of Yisrael, and all the families of the house of Yisrael. Thus saith the Creator, what unrighteousness have your fathers found in me? Now with the Most High providing all that protection, all that safety, feeding you food from heaven, where you didn't have to go out and plow the ground and till the ground to eat. The Most High provided food for you. It fell from the sky, and all you had to do was pick it up off the ground. Water was coming to us in the most desolate of places when they just speak to the rock and water would gush out to give us water to drink. What kind of power do you know that has done anything like that? What religion do you know where people serve these deities have even left on record that type of power and might that they will provide for their people? Nobody can compare to the Most High King. He fed us in the wilderness for 40 years. We ate manna that fell from heaven. We had water that came out of rocks, out of a dry desert place. He took care of us. He provided for our every need. Matter of fact, when we flee from the face of our enemies out in the desert, you know the desert is hot in the daytime, cold at night, freezing cold at night, hot in the daytime, freezing cold at night. Well, we had to travel from Egypt across the wilderness in the desert with that hot heat all day. 130 degrees heat in the desert. But you know what the Most High did for us? he was a cloud by day. He shielded us from the heat. What power, what deity, where they at? Where are gods that has done anything close to this like the Most High King? In the daytime, he was a cloud. Of course, it was his angels. But he was a cloud for the children of Israel so that the heat, we didn't feel it. It didn't hurt us. It didn't burn us. And then at night, when it got cold, when it got cold, what did the Most High do when it got cold for his people? He was a pillar of fire around the encampment of Israel. Why was he a pillar of fire at night? The Most High was a pillar of fire at night to keep us warm, to take care of us. You understand what it is that I'm trying to say to you? Check the record books, family. Read their history books of their religions and what their gods, their deities did for them. None of them will compare to what the Most High did for us and our forefathers. So the Most High asks a question. He says, what unrighteousness have your fathers found in me that they are gone far from me? Why do we leave the Creator? And that we have walked after things or not, that we have walked after these deities. You know, we have in Ethiopia, many of our people went to live down in Ethiopia, and one of the kings who was a lineage of Shlomo was named Menelik I. Menelik I was supposedly, and I happen to agree with it, Menelik I was the offshoot of Makeda, who many of us know as Queen of Sheba, Makeda, and King Solomon. Menelik I, Menelik II, and I believe Menelik III was what we call Haile Selassie today. Haile Selassie come out of the lineage of Queen of Sheba, Makeda, and King Solomon. In that land of Ethiopia, it was an Israelite, Hebrew Israelite community, and they're still there till today. But what we practiced was Christianity during the time of Haile Selassie. Because the queen, what was her name? Queen Christina, I believe was her name, came in and she influenced Christianity on the minds of our people. We already had the righteous ways from our forefathers, but we chose to convert into a way that they call Christianity at the time. And we've been struggling all the way up until today of trying to leave Christianity out of the equation when we return back to the Creator. And it's been very difficult for us. It's very difficult. But here the Father is asking a question. He's saying, what was the reason why your forefathers have left me? The Creator is saying, what have I done after I've done so many things for them and provided for them like none of those images had provided for them? Why have they left me? The Most High is asking us that question. He says, what unrighteousness have your fathers found in me that they are gone far from me and have walked after things of nothing and are become as nothing? We began to serve deities as opposed to serving the Almighty King, the King of all creation. And again, till today, we do the same thing. I promise you, you're going to get something great out of this lesson, family, before we're done. He says, where is the Creator that brought you up, that brought us up? We asking this question. Where is the Creator that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of desert and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passes through, and where no man dwelleth? When the children of Israel came out of Egypt, and Moshe went up into the mountaintop to talk to the Most High, to get the word of the Most High, to bring back to the people, he was gone for 30 days and 30 nights. Basically, he was gone for a complete 30 days. It took him a long time to return back to us. And you know what happened? We asked those same questions then. Where is the Most High? No one could see great miracles happening before their eyes, although the sun was shining every day, manna was falling from heaven, water was still coming from the rocks. Because we got accustomed to those things, we got used to the blessings of the Almighty happening every day in our lives, we were looking for something new. We said, where is the Creator? And Moses has been gone for so long, we haven't seen anything from the Creator recently. So because we haven't seen anything, what did we do? We went back to our idols. And that's the same thing that's taking place today, family. We look around and we don't see any great miracles happening in the earth today. But if we pay attention long enough, we will see the miracles. If we focus on the Most High hard enough, we will see the miracles. If we allow the intricate details to reveal itself to us, we'll see the miracles. But what we're doing is we're relying on these religions that we learn from our oppressors to teach us how to serve the Most High King. And that's not what we ought to do. That's not something that we ought to do, family. It says, where no man dwells, and I brought you into a land of fruitful fields, to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land. When the Most High gave you a blessing and caused you to come into the knowledge of who you are, you took advantage of the blessing, but you still practice your idolatrous ways. You tune into pages like this every Shabbat, family. You hear these teachings. You learn how you're supposed to conduct yourself, but you say to yourself in your mind, well, who is Prince? He ain't going to teach me nothing. Oh, I know that, brother. You're looking at the messenger and you're not hearing the message. The message is change your ways before the wrath of the Most High falls upon you. The message is taught through the words, but you have to be willing to hear the words of the Almighty as He speaks. It's like silver. When you move away the dross from all the silver, what happens to the silver? It shines. And that's how you're supposed to do it. But if you don't constantly work that silver, it gets dull again. It doesn't shine anymore. Same thing you have to do with the knowledge that you're learning about the Almighty and how to worship Him and how to serve Him. If you don't apply these teachings to your life, your spirit gets dull. You don't look as good spiritually as you did when you first came into this way and you were applying these things to your lifestyle. Return back to the Most High, family, because that's what He needs of us. Our true loyalty, our obedience, our sincerity, our commitment, all that we are, we must give unto Him. We come to these places and we learn these lessons and we continue on in our lives doing the same old thing as if we didn't learn anything new today. And that's not cool. The Most High is going to get you, I promise you. And I'm not saying these things to scare you. All I'm saying these things for is for you to try to return back to the Almighty. I'm not trying to make you afraid. I'm not in the business of scaring people. I'm in the business of waking up your mind, taking to you a higher level of consciousness, elevating your essence. That's the business that I'm into. But when ye entered into that land, ye defiled my land, and made my heritage an abomination. The priest said not, where is the Creator? Your priest didn't search out for the Almighty. What your priest did was your priest read a book. Read one verse out of a book and talk about that one verse for an hour. Then you get a little bit of music in the background when you start feeling this thing that you call a Holy Ghost, and you start shaking and you start speaking. Foam start coming out of your mouth. You fall on the floor and you shaking and doing all these things, and you get up and say, wow, that felt good. The Holy Ghost was in this place. That wasn't no Holy Spirit. It was a demon possessing you in the heights of idolatry. That's all it was. It was a demon. But now that the Most High has called you out of that and called you back unto himself, you want to bring some of those things and incorporate them in your worship to the Creator. No. The Creator says, when I bring you out of the house of idolatry, when I bring you out, you ought to worship me according to the description that I left on record. You don't bring your deity with you when you come into the house of the Almighty and try to act like you want to serve the Most High, and you incorporate all those other things in your life into the service of the Creator. That's not why he woke you up, fam. That's not what he did. We have to be circumspect of our actions, and only we know what we do that's pleasing and right before the Almighty. We have to walk before the Most High in our integrity, which means that your very action is the very best that you're able to give to the Almighty. There are a lot of us men who teach this truth. And then after Shabbat, we go out with a woman that we ain't got no business with. Somebody we've been keeping a secret from our Nashim or even our Isha, and nobody in our community knows, and we don't do nothing but give her a couple of hours at the end of the day and keep it moving. That's evil, family. That's not the way a righteous man should conduct himself. A righteous man should conduct himself by exposing his life unto the world. If you got a woman, make it known to the community that you have this woman. You can have multiple Nashim. Why hide? See, if you have to hide something, it's because you fear. And the only reason why you have to fear is because you know you're doing something wrong. You understand? We got women and sisters who out sexing men. That is not your husband. Well, we've been living together for 10 years. We common law, husband and wife. Ask him that question if he's your husband. And if he is, bring him to the community. And if he is he serving the Almighty? Because if he's not doing these things, if he's not serving the Most High, if he's not a part of the community, how's he your husband? If you are a part of the community and you are serving the Almighty. We got a lot of people that's doing things that we know are wrong. We come to the house of worship on the Shabbat, hoop and holler, sing and dance, make prayer, give praises to the Almighty, and after Shabbat we go right back to that same lifestyle that we lived, conducting our evil behavior and doing things that are unrighteous before the Almighty. That's not the way we're supposed to live and serve this King. These are the things that the Most High hates. He despises our actions when we conduct ourselves like this. This is the thing. Those things are small examples. We cheat each other. We don't keep our word. As Israelite men, as Israelite women, we are responsible for honoring our word to each other. If I give you my word as my brother or as my sister, then I'm going to have to do everything in my power to honor my word. Many of us feel like if I tell you something, it's just to get you out of my face, because I already know I ain't going to do it. You see? And then we look like liars or deceivers, and we feel bad for a moment, but just for a moment. And we never apologize to the person and change our behavior. We don't do that. We go around town being known as a talebearer, as a person that's not trustworthy nor honorable. And every one of us should be honorable to the best of our ability. The word about us should be, you can trust him. You can trust her. He's a solid brother. She's a solid sister. If she gives her word, she's going to fulfill it. If he gives his word, he's going to fulfill it. That's how we should be. And everybody should know that we serve, we worship, we honor the Most High King of all creation. Him and him alone do we serve. The whole earth should know that. The priest said not, where is the Creator? And they that handle the laws knew me not. The rulers transgressed against me. The prophets also prophesied by Jesus. Who? By what? By Yahushua. Who? By what? By Baal. Baal means master. Baal is a deity in the Babylonian culture. There are places where Baal, we used to refer to the Most High by the name of Baal. But the Most High says to us, don't call me by that name no more. And the reason what we like to do is we like to associate things that we are accustomed to, and we like to bring them into our worship of the Almighty. So when our forefathers went into captivity in Babylon, we learned the customs of the Babylonians. The Babylonian worshiped Baal. Well, when the Most High called us back out of the Babylonian captivity back into himself, we brought Baal with us. We learned the practices of Baal even before we went into the Babylonian captivity. We went into the Assyrian captivity a little while earlier. We learned Baal. You understand? Baal was a name that, like Jesus, like Yahushua, like Yeshua. That was how Baal was. So we heard these things, although we didn't worship these things. So we would like that title or that association, and then when we returned back to the Creator, we brought that type of thing and we addressed it to the Almighty. The Most High says, don't do that. Don't call me Baal no more. I don't want to hear that. We worshipped this deity named Baal. Our prophets prophesied by the name of Baal. The Most High lets us know that people will prophesy in the book of Deuteronomy, the 13th chapter, and these prophecies will come true. But the important thing is, when they prophesy, they come true, do they tell you to go worship and serve a deity? Because if that's what they do, then that's how you know the Most High hasn't sent them. Anyone who prophesies in truth is going to teach you how to serve the Creator, like we do today. We're teaching you about the oneness of the Almighty. And we're not directing you in any other direction to give anybody his praise, glory, honor, or respect but him. Okay? And we walk after things that do not profit. These religions that you're living in, that you're serving, these deities, these powers, none of those things will prevail you in a latter time. None of them. You may be living it and think that you're being blessed right now, but I promise you, when the thing hit the fan, you will know best firsthand that what you're doing is practicing idolatry. Man, actually, if you just listen to the lessons, you'll learn it right now. Wherefore, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 9, wherefore I met ye and pled with you, saith the Creator. The Most High is saying that he's pleading with us. He's begging us to return to him. He's saying to us, why have you left me? Return to me, Israel. Return unto me. He says, I have done nothing to cause you any hurt, harm, or danger. All my desires for you, Israel, is for good. And I wish that you can see this. Return unto me, O house of Israel. But we said, we are having better time right here serving Tammuz, Baal, Jesus, or any other Egyptian deity, or Allah, or the name of any of those deities. We feel like we're having a better time serving them than we could serving the Most High. So what the Most High does is he's bringing these horrible times in your life, these very extremely difficult times in your life where you don't know where to turn or where to go. And then the Most High causes someone to whisper in your ear, to show you the way, one of his servants, and you reject it because it didn't come in the name of that deity that you are accustomed to. Therefore, your troubles shall continue. It appears to you as if your troubles have stopped, have ceased, but that's only temporary. You're going to continue to have difficult times in your life until you return and surrender yourself back to the Most High King with all that you have. Every ounce of you must return back to this King. You have lived so many years and served these deities, and all the Most High did was spare your life to give you the opportunity to return to him. And what do you say to him? You say, I can't do that. Or, I find comfort serving Allah. I find comfort serving Ra, Imhotep, or any other deity that you're serving, the Egyptian deities, the Islamic deities, the Christian deities. You find comfort in giving glory and honor unto these powers. I mean, they're not powers at all. They're deities. And you have found comfort in that. Many people have walked away from this truth to worship the Egyptian deity because somebody showed them something in some book that said that they were Egyptian, that all black people come from Egypt. And that's not true. The Most High speaks about this in this chapter right here, in the 2nd chapter of Jeremiah. The Most High speaks about these things. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 10. Verse 9. I'm going to start at verse 9. Wherefore I will yet plead with you, saith the Creator. Why would the Most High of all creation have to plead with us who are flesh and blood? Why would the Almighty have to plead with us except that he really, really cares for us, that he really loves us, and that he wants us to do right? There is no other reason why a power so powerful as the Almighty would plead with his servants. You don't see the United States government pleading with us, do you? No. You don't see your boss on your job pleading with you, do you? No. You do what they say do, or they'll remove you. You understand? But the Most High, as powerful as he is, he's pleading with us, family. He's saying, return unto me, and I will return unto you. But what do? We're holding fast to these deities. And we're serving and walking in the ways of these deities, and we're turning our backs on the Creator. And with your children's children, that's us today, family, will I plead. The children's children are us today, and the Most High is pleading with us. For pass over to the Isles of Kittim. Now, the Most High says, pass over to the Isles of Kittim. Kittim is a term in the Mediterranean Sea. Kittim is the descendants of Japhet. I'm about to tie something in for you. Kittim is the descendants of Japhet. Japhet is the descendant of Noah. Japhet is the forefather of Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz, who is the son of Japhet, is the forefather of the Jewish man. The Edom, strike that word. The Jewish man today who claims to be you. The Most High is saying, pass over to the Isles of the Jewish man, which means in so many words, take hold of their religion. You know, the Jewish man, although he claims to live by the Torah, he doesn't. He lives by the Talmud and the Mishnah. That's what he lives by. Many children of Israel has adapted to the Jewish man's teachings and call themselves worshiping and serving the Creator. But what they are really doing is worshiping and serving the rabbis. The Most High is leaving it on record because Kittim is Javan. Javan is Japhet. Or Javan is Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz is Japhet. And Japhet is the son of Noah, which ultimately leads back down to the Jewish man and their practices. The Jewish man. That's where they come from. That's why they call themselves Ashkenazi Jews, because they're letting you know their heritage and their lineage. Ashkenazi, the European man. And then we, who are true blood on blood Hebrew Israelites, called to the service of the Creator of all creation, we come in and go through the Jewish man how to return back to the Creator when we have brothers and sisters right here teaching you the truth of the Almighty. And the Most High is saying to us that that's an abomination. That's not how he wants us to return back to him. They call that Kittim. Then he says in verse 10, for pass over to the Isles of the Jewish man, Kittim, and see, and send unto Kedar. Wow. Kedar. Kedar is the Ishmaelites. Kedar means black or black-skinned. And if you look, the original Ishmaelites were us, black people, not us as Hebrew. They are Hebrew. Ishmael's lineage are Hebrew, but they're not Israelites. So here, Kedar means black in reference to the man, but Kedar is also making reference to Ishmael and his lineage. Today, the people who takes hold of Ishmael practice servitude to a rock, to a stone, again, an idol. They are the ones that we consider today to be Muslims. So far we got the Jewish man that we returned unto. And if you look around, a lot of our people today, the children of Israel, are taking hold of Judaism, the religion of the Jewish man. Has nothing to do with the Almighty. Then we have where the Most High is also saying that we run to Kedar. And Kedar is the house of Ishmael, where they worship rocks and stones. When they make Hajj, they go to Mecca. They make Hajj. They walk around what they call the Kaaba, which is a house which houses the stone. They call it the black stone, which is really gray, but it's black because so many people that touched it over the years. Now they have it so that you can't even touch it. Now they have a silver band around it holding it together because when the Ishmaelites was conquered many years ago, their conquerors burnt the Kaaba to the ground. The black stone that they have cracked. So they refused, they got it back together and they put it back together and wrapped that silver band around it to hold it together. And now they have the Kaaba housed in a building where they go and make Hajj or pilgrimage to it. And they walk around it 7 times and then go to the well of Zamzam and walk around that. See, you have to understand they walk back and forth, back and forth. You have to make yourself study so you can learn. So that when people bring these practices into your culture and try to mingle it into the worship of the Almighty, you know that it's serving a deity. So you'll be able to step off. Now, how can I say all these things? Because I study. Because I carefully and diligently research. I learn these things. I didn't just learn the Tanakh one day and get up and say, I'm going to start teaching. This wasn't what I had in mind. My teacher told me this is your job, this is your calling, and I still didn't accept it because I didn't understand it. But here we are today, and I'm saying to you, family, research, study, learn, get all the knowledge you can, incorporate that into your understanding so that you will know how to serve this king and speak with authority when you speak to people who practices idolatry, to bring them out, to illuminate their minds and to open them up. So far, we have talked about the Jewish man, Kittim, Kedar. We then also talked about Kedar, the Ishmaelites. Let's see whatever other religion our people be jumping into in mass numbers. Let's see if the Most High brings up anything about Islam, because the Egyptology, because the Egyptologists, that religion is another fast-growing way of life that a lot of our people are taking hold of and leaving the ways and true practices of serving the Creator. So let's see if the Most High brings that up. We talked about Christianity. We talked about Judaism. We talked about Islam. And let's see what else the Most High has for us. And see if there has been such a thing. Let me back it up so that you can understand. I'm going to start at the 10th verse. We're in Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, verse 10. For pass over into the isles of these religions. Pass over into Kittim, the Jewish man. And see and say unto Kedar, the Ishmaelites, the Muslims. And consider diligently. Read their books. Talk to their people. And see if anything in their religion comes even close to the things that the Most High has done for the children of Israel. See if anything in their books, in their studies, in their belief, anything comes close to what the Most High has done for the children of Israel. And see if there has been any such thing. Has a nation changed its God? Did any of those people change their deity? Any of them? No, we the only ones. We are the ones who walked away from the Almighty. They don't walk away from their deity. The Christians ain't stopped serving JC. The Jewish man ain't stopped serving the rabbis. You understand? The Muslim man still serve their deity Allah and the rocks and the stones that they serve. Who do you serve, Israel? You are the only people who have walked away from the service of your power. Think about it. You're the only people. The Indians still serve Buddha, Krishna, who is Jesus. They still serve their deities. But who do you serve, Israel? And how do you serve him? If you say to yourself that I serve the creator of all creation, if you say that, then ask yourself, how do you serve him? Because a lot of us who say that, we incorporate our idolatrous practices of Christianity into our service of the creator. And if not Christianity, it's Islam. And if not Islam, it's Catholicism. If not Catholicism, it's Judaism. Rather than us returning back to the Most High in truth and serving the Most High and him alone, we incorporate these other practices into our service of the Almighty. Verse 11, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 11. Has a nation changed its gods, which are no power? But my people have changed me, have changed its glory. We have changed our salvation. My people, the Most High says, have changed its glory. For what? For that which does not profit. We have walked away from the Most High to serve a deity, which can do absolutely nothing for us. Nothing can that deity do for us. But we've walked away from the Almighty to worship these deities. And these deities does nothing for us. We have to understand this. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be exceedingly amazed, says the creators. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns. A cistern is a canister that we use when we go down to the lake and scoop up the water. They are used to sustain us, to give us water. Water being life. The Most High is saying in this chapter, this particular verse, that we have separated ourselves from the true life giver, and we have gravitated and given his glory to something else, and saying that that thing has sustained us, and it's been nothing but the Almighty who has sustained us. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hew them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water, that can hold no life. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why has he become a prey? He says the young lions have roared upon him and let their voices resound, and they have made his land desolate. He crieth and laid waste without inhabitants. He crieth and laid waste without inhabitants. Now that young lion is Kippur, which means the villages. Without the villages coming together, being strong, there's nothing that we can accomplish. Those people of those villages has come upon us and devoured us, and we allowed it to happen. His cities are laid waste without inhabitants. The children also of Naph and Tahpanhes. Wait a minute. The children of who? The children of Naph. Some of your books might say Memphis and Tahpanhes. Naph and Memphis are cities of Egypt. So the Most High is letting us know that a lot of us have walked away from him and taken hold of the deities of Egypt. Naph, Memphis is one and the same. Tahpanhes, another portion of that land. The Most High is letting us know that a lot of children of Israel will walk away from him and serve the deities of the Egyptians. Let me show you how deep it is with that portion right there. There's a lot of people who will disagree with this teaching, but that's okay. Do your research. I went to a school called Gratz College. Gratz College was a place where I learned some Hebrew, how to read and write Hebrew, but I didn't learn how to read and write Hebrew there. I learned how to read and write Hebrew from our people. Then I went to Gratz College to further my knowledge. When I go to Gratz College, I sit down with a teacher who taught me a lot about the Hebrew language. I lost my train of thought. That don't happen often, but I did. When I went to this school, they taught me about the Hebrew language, and they taught me about the etymology of words. Etymology of words meaning to go back to the root of a word, to find out what the word stems from. Once you find the stem, it will teach you the true meaning of that word. Same thing with learning how to teach Torah. When you learn how to teach Torah, you have to go back to the root of Torah, the root of why the Most High is saying what he's saying. You apply those teachings to how you are to worship and serve this king, and thereby you will be enlightened. Here is the root of our separation from the Almighty King. How do we separate? Because we took hold of these religions. We gave, at the root of our core of our problem at the beginning, we gave the Most High's praise to a rock, to a rabbi, to a man who died on a tree, to the Egyptian deity. I wanted to take you back to the root of our problems. How do we worship the Egyptian deity today? A lot of our people will disagree with this. But what I'm teaching you or sharing with you today is a fact. The Europeans got hold of our book. And the European gave back our book at around 625 AD to a group of scribes called the Masoretes. They have what they call today the Masoretic version of the Tanakh, written in Hebrew by the Masoretes. Okay? The Europeans who held our forefathers at spear point around 300 BC, they held them at spear point and made them translate the Hebrew scriptures, and they translated it into Latin, and then they translated it into Greek. The original version is the Septuagint. The Septuagint is the Greek version, the Latin version. And then they have what they call the Pentateuch, which they translated, well, first it goes Pentateuch, then Septuagint, if my memory served me correct. Pentateuch meaning the 70. Okay? They took 70 of our elders and made them translate it. Well, why do I share this knowledge with you? From 300 all the way down to 600, almost 300 and something years, almost 600 and something years, almost 900 years. The European man had our books, almost 1,000 years. When they delivered them back to the European man was already ingrained in our culture, in our customs, and they had already began to take our place. They began to take our place, as prophecy says in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, with the Idumeans. The Idumeans happened around the time of Alexander the Great, around 300 BC. Okay? Alexander the Small, that they call Alexander Epiphanes the Great. The Idumeans came in around that time. So around the time of 100 BC up until the time of 33 AD, when they talk about that time being the time of JC, very few of our people still lived in the land of Israel. We had already ran. Most of us had already ran. We were escaping. We went into Africa by all the waterways, and we built up Singhai, Mali, Timbuktu, all those different places in the African nations. We have begun to build those places up. We followed the waterways, and that's how we did. Well, the Jewish man, because he looked and appeared to be like the Greeks at that time, he was one and the same, but because they looked more like them, they allowed them to take our place. And in 625 AD, they gave them the writings, the sacred writings, where the Masoretes took their version and wrote down a lot of the things that we have today by way of Hebrew scriptures. Within that, there are some words that we have to be diligent with and careful with. One of those words that we have to watch is the word that we use quite often today. We use it quite often, and that word is amen. If you do the history and the research on the word amen, amen is a deity of the Egyptians. That's why the Most High mentioned them last in the curse, because the function of that deity will be among us for a long time. Because every time you end your prayer and you say amen, you're now giving the power to that deity. You should never use that word amen. Well, Prince, amen means truth. It doesn't. Amet means truth, not amen. But we use the word amen because when we left the Christian houses, we brought the Christian teachings with us. Well, why do I say we brought the Christian teachings with us and tie that into idolatry? Because the Christians, JC, Yahawashai, Yeshua, is no other than Horus, the Egyptian deity, all over again. Research, family. These things will be revealed to you. And the Egyptian deity Horus, he was a deity, they worshipped Amen. Amen, they brought both the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom both came together. And when they did that, they brought both powers together. Amun-Ra, that was the name of their chief principal deity, Amun-Ra. But Amun-Ra was actually two deities, the sun god and the sky god. They brought them both together, Amun-Ra. They shorten it today, and all we say is Amen. We give in glory and praise to another deity. I mean, forget another deity, because the Most High is not a deity. The Most High is the absolute. When you worship deities, you're actually worshiping someone other than the Almighty. Another thing for you to know is that you cannot say the Most High is divine. The Most High is not divine. Please get that out of your mind. Another thing that we learn from our oppressors, Christianity, and we incorporate it in the Most High's truth. The word divine means from the Creator. So it's something that He does and gives it unto you or down to the earth. That's what divine is. The Most High is not divine. Divine is a term or a process that the Most High shares with you, something special. It's from Him. That's what divine is. He Himself is not divine. One more thing that I have a problem with, that I think we have an issue, is that we like to say, bless. I bless you, Creator. We can bless each other, but we cannot bless the Almighty. If you want to do anything by way of blessing the Almighty, do it through your actions to serve Him and be obedient unto His word. But you neither have the power or the authority to bless the Creator of all creation. It doesn't exist within you. Okay? So there are reasons and why the Most High leaves on record these teachings and how we are to serve him, to worship him, and to honor him, because he doesn't want us to fall into idolatry. The idolatrous people have taken hold of our writings and have incorporated things in our writings to kind of try to cause us to fall. And every time you say amen, you are giving glory to that deity. Neither should you word your prayers or address the Creator by using the word G-O-D, the word God. You should never refer to the Creator as G-O-D, as God, because the Creator is not God. Far from it. Study, research, learn what it is that I'm saying before you kick me under the bus. You understand what I'm saying? God has nothing to do with the Most High. God is a German deity. Another deity. Sometimes you wonder why your prayers are not being answered. The Most High understands what you mean to say or what your intentions are. He understands that. And oftentimes he will hear your prayers in your ignorant state. But now that you know, and you gotta do better, we gotta return to the Most High in truth. We have to leave behind these idolatrous practices that we have been incorporating in our service to this King, and we have to return to him. So the things that I've shared with you today are key elements to usher our return back unto the Most High. Shema Yisrael, Yotze Eloheinu, Yotze Echad. The word I use might be foreign to you. The word is Yotze. A word that you might not be so familiar with. But you know what Yotze means? Yotze means creator. It's Hebrew for the name creator. You'll find that in the book of Genesis, the first chapter, the 7th verse, where it says that the Most High made Adam, from the dust of the earth. The word for made or created there is Yotze. So when I give praises and I have to use anything, I give an attribute to the Almighty, because he's the only creator. He is the absolute, and there is none like unto him. I thank you all for coming in and joining in and tuning in with this lesson today. I pray that we have done what we can do to please the Most High in all of our efforts on this day as well. Please go out, share the videos so that more people will come into the truth of the Almighty. Share the video in all the houses where you know to reach. Wherever you're a friend, share the videos, share on your page, give it to the people so that they can learn these things. And anyone who wants further information about these things, you can always IM me, inbox me, Prince Israel, inbox me. And we can research, or how the Most High says, we can reason together. Okay? We have a lesson going on right now coming from our land in Goshen. So we're about to close out here. You can tune in to Goshen. I'm going to stream it live on my page, and you can follow along and be a part of that if you choose. But the family in Goshen is my family. It's a part of my family, just like we are here in Philadelphia. So once again, thank you all for being a part of what it is that we do today to serve the Most High. I pray that the information that you have learned today, that you apply it to your innermost beings, that you change your behavior and walk in righteousness and truth to usher in prophecy in our day and time, so that we can give the proper praise, the proper glory, and the proper honor to the Most High King of all creation. May the Most High be pleased. Toda Rabbah.